Hello everyone, today I've got a bit of a different video for you guys. This video is completely unscripted. I'm probably gonna do a few cuts here and there to speed the whole thing up a bit and cut out all the R's and M's. But I am participating in a draft league. I'm hosting and participating in another draft league that is not the VPL, it's the SFL. Three-letter word abbreviations are a thing for Pokemon Draft League. Don't ask me why, I honestly don't know. The unique thing about this draft league is that we also have the round robin system with the rematch that you will play in, but the round robin will be singles and the rematch will be in doubles, and you're not allowed to redraft at halftime. So yeah, I haven't planned my team for this league yet, and the draft is on Saturday, so I thought I would just record this video to get my thoughts down so that you can see how I build a draft team, what resources I use, and how I end up drafting stuff. I prepared this Google sheet here. It's very useful, and I'll give you the link in the description so you can copy it. To copy it, you click on file and then click make a copy, and then you can fill in stuff for yourself. So in the SFL we are allowed to pick 2 S Pokemon, 3A, 3B, 3C and 1D Pokemon. This is the tier list, and normally you would approach the draft a little different. You would look for what archetype of Pokemon you want, whether you want to play hyper aggressive, a little more stally, something like that. I chose a certain Pokemon I want to play because I haven't had that chance yet. The Pokemon is Archaludon, which is an S tier Pokemon. So obviously this isn't the best method to start, because what if I don't get Archaludon? Then my whole draft plan is kinda ruined. I have a few picks I can go to, but since Archaludon really thrives in rain, I'm basically forced to play a rain team. So we go over here and type in Archaludon. As you can see, Archaludon has base 85 speed. I'll also do this. It has a lot of resistances. Is immune to poison. Has very good stats. Actually has 2 very good abilities. And is weak to fighting and ground. So obviously the next thing to do is pick a rain setter. There are 2 rain setters in the game right now. We can also go to the team builder, and I can show you something very nice. You type in your Pokemon you want to pick, then you click on this little box, and then you can click on Smogon Analysis, and then you get to the analysis page. And since we're playing draft, there's a draft format page. This here is in the point buy system that we don't use since we use the tier based system. But there's a lot of useful information here regardless of the draft system we use. For example, when we scroll down here, there's a draft strategy section, and this basically tells you what the best partner Pokemon for Archaludon are. As it says here, Electroshot is an incredible attack under rain. Electroshot is Archaludon's signature move. It's a 130 power move, 100% accurate, and it's a 2-turn move actually. It raises your special attack by 1 and charges the attack, so think Solar Beam for example. And you attack in the second turn. However, if rain is active, you don't have the charge turn. You use the move, immediately get +1 special attack, and then hit the attack. So you definitely want to play this in rain. Since Archaludon is weak to ground and fighting, the rain setter pick is pretty obvious. It's gotta be Pelipper, because Pelipper can switch into ground types, and immediately threaten them, as Pelipper knows the move Hurricane, which is basically the flying type version of Thunder. It has 110 power and can't miss in rain. With this, Pelipper can hit fighting types for super effective damage. But just to be sure, I want to pick another Pokemon that's very good in rain, and that is a switch-in for Archaludon. And as you can see here, flying types are listed as Tornadus T, Zapdos and Moltres. I want to look at Tornadus T and Zapdos actually, because they are very versatile Pokemon. Tornadus variant basically has everything. It has the ability Regenerator, which is one of the best abilities in the entire game. Regenerator gives you 1/3 of your maximum HP back if you switch out. So it's a switch out healing ability, and this would be my third pick, if not for Zapdos, because I would like to play with Zapdos. Zapdos obviously knows Thunder, it benefits from rain a lot. I can still switch in Zapdos into every fighting or ground type, and it knows Hurricane as well. So I would go for Zapdos, and if someone else snipes Zapdos, I would go for Tornadus Therian. And in the S tier, I could go for the defensive Amoonguss because it really strives in rain. And there are other picks that are very good, but I would decide something like this on the fly. Latios is also a very good pick. Manaphy. I could pick Ogerpon Wellspring because Ogerpon Wellspring is I'd say the biggest counter to rain teams, because Ogerpon Wellspring is a water grass mon with Storm Drain. The ability Storm Drain is actually no, it's Water Absorb, I'm sorry. You can't hit Ogerpon with water attacks, they heal instead of getting damaged. So Ogerpon Wellspring is a very good offensive Pokemon, it's very fast. So if either Tornadus T and Zapdos get sniped, I can pick Ogerpon. Palafin is another good pick in rain. There are very many picks. I could pick Walking Wake, because with this I would also thrive in sun. Basically the counter to rain is either other weathers or the ability Cloud9, which is harder to play than just playing another weather. And when building my rain team, I have to look out for Pokemon that can thrive in other weather. So steel types are good. Grass types obviously thrive in rain because fire type attacks are weakened. But for now, I'll take Zapdos as my S tier pick. So we got Pelipper, Zapdos and Archaludon so far. As you can see down here, it also lists what hazard setters you have, hazard removal, support healing and so on. So with Archaludon we now have a hazard setter. I don't think I will use Archaludon as my main hazard setter, so we'll pick another hazard setter later. But the next thing I would go for is hazard removal. Hazard removal is, with hazard setting, is one of the most important roles in Draft League, because you have to have a way to get rid of hazards. And there's one Pokemon that benefits from rain in particular. So we can type in Rapid Spin, and it filters out all monsters that know Rapid Spin. There's Quaquaval, which is obviously a water type that thrives in rain. Blastoise is a very good rapid spinner as it has Rain Dish and lives very long. But I'm actually looking for another Pokemon. I'm looking for Tentacruel. Tentacruel is rather fast with 100 base speed, and it's water poison, so we get another type. I think Tentacruel is B tier. Tentacruel. Yeah, Tentacruel is B tier, so we put it in here. And the other thing Tentacruel has going for it, besides it being a rapid spin and knowing the move Toxic Spikes, being a poison type, I can switch it into an incoming Toxic, which is very good. And I can switch it into Toxic Spikes. Since it's a grounded poison type, it soaks up Toxic Spikes that lay on my side of the field. So you can lay 2 layers of Toxic Spikes, and the grounded Pokemon that switches in either gets poisoned or badly poisoned once they come in contact with the Toxic Spikes. But if you have a grounded poison type, it can soak them up and they are gone from your side of the field. So Tentacruel can switch into either get rid of rocks or normal spikes or even sticky web and get rid of Toxic Spike without even clicking Rapid Spin. That is very, very good. Obviously we have an electric type weakness now. We have a water flying one, which is 2 times weak to electric. We have another water mon, and electric type mons also strive in rain. So the next thing we should do is pick an electric immunity. The most basic electric immunity is obviously the ground type. So we can type in ground and look for Pokemon that would fit the team. We have 2A picks left, so Gliscor is an A-tier Pokemon. That's a very good pick. Clodsire is another very good Pokemon for this. Gastrodon is what I'm actually looking at right now. Quagsire is another good Pokemon. But I think Clodsire is actually the Pokemon I want to pick here. It is another poison type. I don't care about ground weakness because I have 2 flying types right now. It has water absorb, which is good. Takes away one of its weaknesses, and it has unaware. So it's either Gastrodon or Clodsire. Does Gastrodon know rocks? It does actually. So depending on what the draft situation looks like at this point, I would either pick Clodsire or Gastrodon. Let's go with Clodsire for now, just so that we can put him on the team. Clodsire knows Spikes. Spikes is the best hazard in the game right now. You can stack up 3 layers of Spikes and they do, I think, 25% damage to your opponent. Let's see here. Spikes. Gastrodon also knows Spikes, so they're very similar Pokemon. You can't go wrong with either one. They both give us the... They both take away the weakness to electric types. So the next thing is with Clodsire, we are weak to ice. Zapdos has an ice type weakness and Clodsire does. Archaludon obviously does good damage against ice types with its steel typing, and we can switch in Tentacruel, but ice type is such a good type offensively that I want to pick something to handle it now. And I have a Pokemon for that in mind, which is Mienshao. Mienshao is actually B-tier Pokemon. That's very good, so we still have our A-tier Pokemon. Mienshao also has the Regenerator ability. Is a rather fast Pokemon with 105 speed. He's incredibly hard and is good at pivoting because it knows U-turn, and the combination of U-turn and Regenerator is very, very good competitively. So we can pick Mienshao in B tier. So as you can see, we get another pivot move. Mienshao is a very fast knockoffer, which is good. And we can look at the A tier now to find other Pokemon that would thrive in rain. Obviously, Caesar would thrive in rain because it has, the only weakness it has is 4 times fire weakness. And with rain, We weaken fire type attacks. It's a very threatening one with the stab, bullet punch, maybe throw in a sword stance before that. Other Pokemon would be Toxapex, which is very defensive, but we already got 2 poison types. We can pick Porygon 2. There are a lot of good picks actually. Metagross would be a nice pick. Mandibuzz probably. You could probably pick Mandibuzz. Suicune would be a good pick in Rain, but since we have a Charlodon with the same typing, it wouldn't be that good. Dragonite is another good pick because it knows Hurricane and some water type moves. And right now I'm thinking a Fairy type. Either Azumarill or Clefable. Both are very good. Anemoros is not that good in that situation, I think. Grimmsnarl is another good utility fairy type, but I think for special offense and utility in general, I pick Clefable. So we got our, as you can see, a lot of stuff got added down here because Clefable has a lot going for it. Clefable has a lot of coverage moves because it's a Gen 1 Pokemon. If you look at the special moves, it's Fairy, Ice, Water, Fire, Fighting. It has Psychic moves, it has Grass moves, Ice moves, Rock moves, Ghost moves. This thing has everything and it has a lot of utility, that's why it's an A tier. So you basically can never go wrong with Clefable. Going back to the weaknesses for Electric type, there's another thing I want to add. Because there are actually 2 abilities that give you electric type immunity. These being Volt Absorb, which basically is the same thing as Water Absorb. As instead of getting damaged by electric type attacks, you get healed and you are immune to electric type attacks. So basically only electric types have this, but there's another one which is called Lightning Rod. And Lightning Rod is an ability that Rhyperior has. Rhyperior obviously isn't that good in rain, but it can thrive in sand, and Rhyperior is a very solid one even without weather. And since the second round is played in double battles, Rhyperior is a very good Pokemon to have on the field. So I can use Rhyperior as a switch-in to immediately soak up an incoming electric type attack. Because once it hits the field, Lightning Rod is active. That's another good pick I have to keep in mind. Let's see where Rhyperior is placed here. It's probably, yeah, it's a B tier Pokemon. So it's something to consider. We have 1 B tier left. So let's look at B tier here. We have Araquanid in B tier that benefits from rain because Araquanid hits incredibly hard in rain. Araquanid doesn't have that much attack, it has 70 attack, but it has the ability Water Bubble. So it doubles the damage of water type attacks and it can't be burned. Also the damage of fire types is halved, so basically this is rain bonus as an ability and rain bonus stacks on top of it. So if you slap a choice band on this and go with Liquidation, this Pokemon does insane amounts of damage. The other thing Araquanid has going for it is the move Sticky Web. Sticky Web is an entry hazard that lowers the speed of every grounded Pokemon that switches in, and a lot of Pokemon benefit from it because I do have rather fast Pokemon in my team right now. Charlodon really likes the Sticky Web support, but even if they're Scarfers, with the Sticky Web, Mienshao, for example, could be faster than them. So Araquanid is a very good pick here. I could go Barraskewda because Barraskewda is the water type glass cannon. It has Swift Swim, which doubles its speed in rain. It has 123 base attack, 136 base speed. So basically in rain there's nothing that it doesn't outspeed. It has priority, not that it really needs it. And it has a few nice coverage moves. But the thing with rain is you basically just want to press water type moves in rain with water type Pokemon. Another thing we can do is picking Basculegion. Basculegion has Swift Swim as well. They are gray because they have complex bands. They're not allowed to Terra type here, but that doesn't really matter with their ability. Let's look at other picks that we could pick Cloyster to have an ice type, but I have another ice type in mind. Groudon is insanely strong with adaptability in the rain. Dragaga is another pick that could be considered in rain, but not really right now, because we also have two poison types. Floatzel is another Swift Swim user. There's Gastrodon. Goodra can be good in rain. Kingdra obviously as a Swift Swim user. Kilowattrel, but I don't want to pick this same type again. Ludicolo as well, but as I said, I have another grass type in mind. Maushold can be a very good Pokemon in the specific scenario that we are playing double battles in our league. And Maushold has the ability Friend Guard. So as long as Maushold is on the field, all allies or the allied Pokemon receives less damage. And that's very good to pair with Rhyperior, for example, that has a 4 times weakness to grass type attacks. Or for Charlodon to take even less damage. Maushold could be a very solid pick. Noivern could be a very good pick as well, because it knowing Hurricane, it benefits from rain, obviously. So yeah, Swampert is another good pick. There are many Pokemon that benefit from the rain in the B tier. Moltres actually benefits from rain in B tier because it knows the move Hurricane. Even though Fire-type attacks are weakened, it can still threaten a lot of Pokemon with its Hurricane. I think I'll go Raikkonet. The only reason I don't go with Maushold is because I have picked Maushold in several leagues I've already played, otherwise I would pick Maushold here. The Raikkonet is one of the few sticky web setters. If a Raikkonet gets sniped, I'll pick Maushold, but for now we can put a Raikkonet into the B tier. As you can see here, this gives us Sticky Web. Raikkonet is also a very nice switch in for fighting type attacks again. And now we're onto the C tier. The first thing I want in C tier is a Pokemon that knows Swift Swim. So we can look at the ability Swift Swim, see what Pokemon have it. Overqwil was in B tier as we just saw. And there's another Pokemon I want to pick, that's Beartic. Beartic has 130 base attack. It's rather bulky and it's kind of balanced by it being slow. But it has the ability Swift Swim. It also has the ability Slush Rush. So if people are using snow to counter my rain, I can still use Beartic in the snow if I predict that and be faster, outspeed them maybe. So Beartic has good coverage with Play Rough, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Shadow Claw, Throat Chop, Trailblaze, X-Scissor. Beartic has a lot of coverage going for it. So we have our Swift Swim user with Beartic. And what we don't have right now is grass type. And there's another grass type. And there's another Pokemon I immediately think of. Obviously, if you do it, you do your research. I do this for so long that they just come to mind. There's Shiftry. Shiftry has the ability Wind Rider and the ability Chlorophyll. So I can use Shiftry in Sun if people want to counter my rain with Sun. Or I play Wind Rider, and if they want to use my rain to hit perfectly accurate hurricanes, I can switch in Shiftry. It has wind move immunity and it raises its attack by 1, but the immunity is what's important here. So another thing Shiftry is going for it is it knows Hurricane. It also knows Chilling Water, but that's not that important. Hurricane is the thing that synergizes with rain the most. So we put Shiftry into our C tier. There are a lot of other C tier picks that benefit from rain. Virizion would benefit from rain, but I already have a fighting type. Clawitza. Electros is a very neutral pick because with it having Levitate and being electric type, it doesn't have any immunity, but it doesn't really give the team as much utility as I need right now. Dusclops is another very solid pick. It could be used to reset rain in case Pelipper dies. Galvantula would be a good pick if I hadn't picked Araquanid. Let's see about the others here. What I'm missing right now, looking at my team, I'm missing a Psychic type. Psychic types aren't that good anymore, but I still want one just for coverage. So I could go Hoopa, but Hoopa isn't that fast. I could go Galacticunu, but that's another flying type added to the team. And I think I want to pick a Alolan Raichu. Yeah, I think that's what I want to pick. Raichu. Alolan. No, it says Raichu. Raichu Alolan. So Raichu is a rather fast Pokemon. It benefits from rain obviously because it knows Thunder, which is very good for me. It knows Psychic moves. It has some very good utility. It knows Encore. It knows Fake Out, all that kind of stuff. And I have one last pick. And the way Terra works in this is B tier Pokemon can have 1 additional Terra type, C tier can have 2 additional Terra types, and D tier can have 3 additional Terra types. I think it's good to pick a D tier Pokemon that benefits from rain and can still do something else. I already saw Pokemon that does this, but I want to, obviously Dugong would be a nice pick. It doesn't really do much, but it's very defensive. I could pick a Pokemon that's very neutral into everything. Seadra has synergy with rain because it has Swift Swim, and I could terrestrialize it into different types that suit my opponent's team. But I think I want to go with Golduck here. Looks pretty much like it, yeah. Lapras would be an okay pick. I mean, it's D tier. The Pokemon here aren't that great. But I think Golduck, with it having Swift Swim and Cloud9. So Swift Swim obviously, like I told you, doubles the user's speed if rain is active. And Cloud9 negates weather effects. So I could use Golduck as a last resort or prepare a complete weatherless team and disable the opponent's weather with Cloud9. Playing weather myself would probably be easier and it would benefit from Swift Swim a lot more since I can terrestrialize it into 3 Terra types. I could play it mixed, but it's better on the special side, so it has some very good moves. It knows Vacuum Wave, Power Jam, Hydro Pump in rain hits hard. Those are some nice moves. Yeah, it knows Knock Off. I think I'm very happy with Golduck. And I want to make use of rain as much as possible. and at the same time have Pokemon that work without being in rain. Archaludon could be played with a power herb, so the attack skips the turn that it charges without having the rain up. Zapdos is a very versatile Pokemon with or without rain. Pelipper is the rain setter here, so obviously it depends on its own weather with a Hurricane and Hydro Pump, but in niche scenarios it could still perform without its rain. Clodsire is a very solid Pokemon without rain, but it benefits from it. Clefable as well. Tentacruel obviously has the ability Rain Dish, which is very good as a defensive Pokemon. We have Tentacruel as a special defense wall. You could play Archaludon as a physical wall, obviously, because it's very physically defensive. Mienshao does a lot of damage without rain and is not dependent on weather at all. Araquanid as well. The only thing really dependent on weather here is Beartic, because Beartic sucks without Swift Swim or Slush Rush, but I think it's a very solid team. As you probably know, for each pick and for each tier you gotta have several picks. Like I said, this time I really wanted to play Archaludon, so this is my first pick no matter what. And if there aren't any weather setters, any rain setters left after the first round, I'd have to make a makeshift pick, like a prankster Pokemon that knows Rain Dance. Thundurus knows this, Klefki can do this. Klefki is a very good Pokemon for this. Thundurus as well though. Sableye could do the job. Tornadus, which is another pick. Yeah, Tornadus could be a very good one for this, especially in doubles. Tornadus is very good in doubles. But yeah, if all rain setters are gone, I have to pick another Pokemon, obviously, and I have to adapt on the fly. I'd advise for you to at least pick 5 Pokemon per tier. So if you can pick 2 S tier Pokemon, I would prepare 5 picks that have synergy with the rest. A tier, I would maybe go for 5, 6, maybe even more, because Pokemon all fill a similar role and do this with the rest of the tiers. What you're doing is a live draft. I'm doing a live draft as well, but I drafted a lot of times in my life and I know what Pokemon fill similar roles, and I'm very good at adapting on the fly because I know all of these Pokemon and how they are played and what they do. But in your case, you probably don't, and I would give you the advice to plan beforehand. As I said, planning on Archaludon is not very wise. As I said, I'm very limited with the rain because the Archaludon thrives in rain, and then I basically have to pick rain. It can be very fun and very rewarding, but I probably wouldn't advise picking a weather team as a first timer. As a first timer, I would pick a very solid Pokemon. Looking at the S tier right now, there is Amoonguss, which is a very good Pokemon regardless of field effects. Cinderace is a very solid Pokemon and stuff like that. Pokemon that handle a lot of roles regardless of field effects is what I would plan my team with, but I want you to plan this by yourselves, so I picked another league to plan in. I didn't use the tier list you guys have, just so that you have to make up your own mind if you do the draft prep. As I said, I will link this in the description, but I'd advise to do this on stream. Having people to help you that know the game maybe even better than you is a very good thing, because this can be overwhelming. You pick a lot of Pokemon and you have to keep a lot of things in mind. I tried to help you as much as possible with this overview, with hazard setting, hazard removal, support healing, momentum and stuff like that, which are important things to look out for. Remember to use the Showdown Team Builder, remember to use the deck sites for help. Always look at the text, look if what's written here aligns with the archetype you want to play, and always think of the rules that are specific to your draft league. So for example, the terror rule. what is it, and how can my Pokemon benefit from it. For example, Golduck doesn't have that much of attack, but it's very fast with Swift Swim, so it makes good use of Terra type. I could also give Alolan Raichu the Terra type, because it's very fast, but this is something that I have to think about while the draft happens. As I said, you're playing a live draft, so you have to make decisions on the go. Keep that in mind, and if something else you wanted to have a snipe, you have to adapt immediately. It can happen that the person right before you picked the Pokemon that you wanted to pick next, and then you have to adapt and pick a different Pokemon that suits your entire team. So keep that in mind. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this helped you as much as I thought it did, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.